Let's take a second right now to have a moment of silence for Washington Mystics owner Shelly Johnson, who suggested that the WNBA as a whole should have been on the cover of Time magazine instead of just Caitlin Clark, who graced the cover last week, which is probably some of the stupidest shit.
What happens when record-breaking stats, a Time magazine cover, and a dose of jealousy collide? You get the Caitlin Clark effect. But here's the real question. Why is her success sparking so much backlash? From Matt Barnes to Jim Jackson, big basketball names are stepping in, and they're not holding back. They're not just defending Clark, they're shining a spotlight on a deeper issue in women's sports. So, what's really fueling the outrage? Let's break it down and uncover the truth behind the controversy.
Caitlin has brought a ton of new opportunity, a ton of new eyeballs, and more money to the sport. So instead of downplaying the magnitude of who she is and what she's brought, enjoy the ride and take advantage of the ride.
Caitlin Clark winning Time's Athlete of the Year should have been a slam dunk for women's basketball. But surprise, some people aren't exactly celebrating this milestone.
And first of all, she's unbelievable talent. You know, the things that she's doing is great in her own right. She's creating her own space, she's doing her own thing.
Imagine this, a young star shattering records and landing a major magazine cover. Sounds like a win, right? Yet, instead of applause, Caitlin Clark is facing unexpected backlash. What's going on?
While the NBA's ratings continue to drop over 30% as they try to figure out who is going to fill the shoes of LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry, the WNBA has a golden goose sitting in their league and it's gotten better, but has done everything to kind of discredit the momentum and eyeballs she's brought to this game.
Let's unpack the backlash. It's spicier than salon gossip. Whispers of favoritism, claims of too soon, and even some salty remarks from the WNBA are swirling. Sheila Johnson, co-owner of the Washington Mystics, isn't holding back, suggesting the entire WNBA deserved the spotlight, not just Caitlin Clark. Talk about throwing shade on someone's big moment.
It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. I'm going to be very honest. I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have. And I think right now, it is time for that to happen.
Johnson's not stopping there. She's spotlight might create some bad blood in the league. When you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings.
Johnson isn't holding back, voicing concerns that all the attention on Caitlin Clark could stir bad blood in the league. When you single out one player, it creates hard feelings, she says. Ouch. Imagine winning a major award, only to have people argue it should have gone to everyone else. Johnson also points out that many equally talented players of color haven't received the recognition they deserve. This controversy goes way beyond Twitter drama. It's sparking a much-needed conversation.
31% of the Mystics' entire attendance was in 2 games the Caitlin team played against the Mystics. The Sparks, the Aces, the Mystics, the Dream, all moved games when Fever came in town because of the attention that Caitlin and her teammates have drawn that last season. Fever's jersey sales was up 1,000% and attendance was up 250%. And they had the largest attendance on average per year, just over 17,000 per year.
This drama has real stakes for Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. Johnson fears it could breed division and jealousy within the league. She's even name-dropping stars like Angel Reese, saying, "It's not just Caitlin Clark, it's Reese. We have so much talent going unrecognized." So, why is Clark's success sparking such a strong reaction? The answer isn't simple, but don't worry, we're just scratching the surface. Ready to dive in? Let's hear from some big names in basketball, because they've got a lot to say, and trust me, they're not holding back.
Let me say this, Caitlin Clark deserves all the flowers. I think she took a lot of it and a lot of skeptics coming into the league, as she should. Like, she had to really prove herself. missed out on the Olympic opportunity, and really had a lot of hard knocks early on in the season where she was getting beat up and her teammates were just watching her. I think the camaraderie in that locker room grew and that team started playing together and made the playoffs, made a nice little run, and had a solid.
Picture this. NBA champ Matt Barnes, never one to shy away from controversy, grabs the mic, and you know it's about to get real. When it comes to Caitlin Clark and the WNBA, Barnes isn't just defending her, he's calling out the whole league. His message? Clark deserves every ounce of praise she's getting. All the flowers, as he puts it. But Barnes doesn't stop there. He's taking aim at the skeptics who've been side-eyeing Clark from the start, making it clear he's not here for the criticism. When Barnes talks, you know it's worth listening.
Caitlin is someone who has, if you look at it, done everything you're supposed to do and has been criticized along every step of the way. Again, she's damned if she does, and she's damned if she doesn't.
Here's where things get spicy. Barnes drops some hard truths, calling out the WNBA for failing to embrace its golden goose. He claims the league is missing a major opportunity by not fully supporting Caitlin Clark's momentum and the attention she's brought to the game. Let's break it down. Barnes isn't throwing shade for drama. He's talking stats, impact, and some unfiltered locker room honesty. His point? Clark is drawing fans and generating buzz, but instead of riding that wave, the WNBA seems to be dropping the ball. And Barnes isn't afraid to call it like he sees it.
I think they're doing an amazing job with, like you said, telling the story. And the players are actually doing their thing when they get there,
yes,
too. You know, like you mentioned, these couple of players, but Caitlin being the one that we're speaking about right now, she is kicking everybody's ass.
What's really fueling Barnes's fire? Sheila Johnson's criticism. The Washington Mystics co-owner suggested the entire WNBA, not just Caitlin Clark, deserved Times Athlete of the Year. Barnes? He's not having it.
You see the people say it's not just her, there's other players, and again, we're not distracted. We understand that the depth of talent in that league, but when you also see the numbers that back up the fact that Caitlin has a huge effect. Caitlin Clark is responsible for nearly 27% of the WNBA's league-wide activity in 2024, including attendance. 1 in 6 tickets sold at the WNBA arena attributed to Caitlin Clark. TV viewership was up 300% with Caitlin.
Barnes isn't just dishing out shade. He's making solid points about marketing, fan engagement, and the future of the game. He's asking the tough questions. Why isn't the league doing more to spotlight its biggest star? Why let such a golden opportunity slip away?
We had to compare from what we've seen from the NBA. It would, in her effect, probably something similar to Larry.
You might be thinking, isn't this just another guy talking about women's sports? Fair enough, but hang tight. Barnes is dropping some serious truth bombs. He's not speaking just as an ex-player. He's speaking as someone who understands the business of sports. Barnes argues that the WNBA might be sabotaging its own success by not fully embracing Caitlin Clark and the attention she's bringing. That's not just a hot take. It's a 5-alarm fire. Barnes is essentially saying the league is shooting itself in the foot by not capitalizing on Clark's star power.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You know, they continue to push the game to the next level, you know, and you look at where the NBA was and now where the NBA is at now. And although everyone doesn't agree with the style of play, these guys have taken it to the next level as far as the business of basketball.
Right.
And I think that's what Caitlin will affect, is the business of women's basketball, man. So we wish them the best. Definitely excited to see these upcoming seasons and these women continue to do their...
Guess what? Barnes isn't the only one speaking up. This conversation is just heating up, with more voices jumping into the mix. So, what does another NBA veteran have to say? If Barnes's comments are any indication, this debate is far from over. Let's dive into Jim Jackson's take. The former NBA star turned analyst isn't just dipping his toes in. He's going all in, tossing out some fiery opinions on Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. Get ready for some spicy takes. Jackson's about to stir the pot.
Congratulations to Caitlin Clark for being named Time Athlete of the Year. I get why people are so upset. I'm a basketball player and a basketball fan. There's a lot of dynamics and a lot of layers to this thing when it deals with Caitlin Clark. But I will say that this is just my opinion. It's certain people, I don't care if you're black, white, Spanish, from Europe, it doesn't matter. That have it, that draws something, okay? And Caitlin is...
So what's Jackson's angle? It's all about the green. No, not the court, but cold, hard cash. Or as the suits call it, marketability. Jackson isn't holding back. He says Caitlin Clark has that special something, that X factor which makes people stop, watch, and take notice.
People keep in mind, this is a business. When Nike signs a athlete, okay, they want to get an ROI, return on their investment. How do they do that? Because that athlete resonates. You understand that Caitlin Clark, her jerseys, her apparel, if she has an apparel deal, her shoes will...
Here's where things get really interesting. Jackson's comparing Caitlin Clark to some WNBA legends, and his conclusion is causing a stir. He's boldly stating that Clark is more marketable than Aja Wilson, the reigning MVP of the WNBA. Yep, you heard that right. According to Jackson, Clark's star power outshines Wilson's when it comes to marketability.
Caitlin may not be... Aja Wilson is the best player in the WNBA. But Caitlin is more marketable because people tend to resonate. I don't care, black, white, whatever it may be. And now there is a race component to it. It always will be in some regards, okay? But the player itself, the person, what she was able to do, how she resonated, how she drew eyes to the team.
Let's break down Jackson's analysis. He's not just pulling this from thin air. He's discussing star power, fan engagement, and even the sensitive topic of race in sports marketing. And Jackson isn't holding back on any of it.
Don't agree with the Mystics owner saying that the whole WNBA should have been named that, because that's not true. The whole WNBA benefited this year from the viewership in...
You know who else Jackson thinks has that special sauce? Steph Curry. Yep, he's drawing parallels between Caitlin Clark and the NBA's Golden Boy. Jackson points out,
the reason why Steph Curry, who may not be the best player, okay, in the NBA, but he draws differently. He draws different. He can be marketed differently than other players. And some players who may be considered better, maybe a Kevin Durant. But the market, to market Kevin Durant is a lot different than marketing Steph Curry. People resonate with Steph Curry a lot more than a...
It's not just about being the best on the court. It's about connecting with fans off it. But wait, Jackson's not stopping there. He's expanding the conversation to the WNBA's future, highlighting how the entire league got a boost from Caitlin Clark's college performance. That's right. He's talking about how a rising tide lifts all boats.
Some other players that get deals, men and women, okay, that have signature shoes, that despite how good they are as a player, great as they are as a player, they don't move product because it doesn't resonate. It doesn't translate.
You might be wondering, is this really still about basketball? Good question. According to Jackson, it's not just about how you play the game, it's about how you sell it. And Caitlin Clark? She's selling like hotcakes.
Translates is when Caitlin Clark came into the league and 30,000 jerseys were already ordered. That the Indiana Fever, the season tickets were already sold out. When you go on the road to the Mystics and they have to change the venue in which it's going to be played to play, you know, where the Wizards play, okay, on a couple of occasions. It's only certain people that do that. Whether you like Caitlin or not, are you interested? If you're a ball player, there's certain aspects you got to love about Caitlin.
So we've heard from NBA vets, fans, and critics about Caitlin Clark's Time Athlete of the Year award. But here's the twist. What's the WNBA saying about all this? Well, that's where it gets really interesting. The league has been suspiciously quiet on the matter. Weird, right?
You know well enough that in 1984, when Michael Jordan came into the NBA, the ratings in the NBA were not great. Chicago Stadium was, a third full. He's getting the lion's share of the attention. The games are now getting all of his games are on TV. And he just was a polarizing figure. And Tiger Woods was like that when he went to the PGA as well. He changed the total economics of golf the same way Michael Jordan changed the financial economics of the NBA.
Let's set the scene. You've got this rookie phenom breaking records, drawing in fans by the truckload and making headlines everywhere. Sounds like a marketer's dream, right? You'd think the WNBA would be celebrating, popping champagne, and planning parades. Instead, there's nothing. Crickets. What's going on behind those closed doors at WNBA HQ? Here's where it gets messy. Some are saying the silence speaks volumes. Are we dealing with jealousy, politics, or something else entirely? Remember what Sheila Johnson, co-owner of the Washington Mystics, said. She thinks singling out Caitlin Clark is creating hard feelings in the league. Could this be why the WNBA is staying mum?
Idea of some players being jealous? Yes, that probably exists. Okay. To me, yeah, jealous, sure. I mean, would you be jealous of somebody that got $28 million a shoe deal or whatever the deal is before you step foot in the...
You might be thinking, maybe they're just letting Caitlin Clark have her moment. Nice thought, but here's the thing. The league's silence might be doing more harm than good. And it's not just Clark feeling the chill. This whole situation is bringing deeper issues in the WNBA to the surface. So, where does this leave us? And more importantly, where does it leave Clark? The WNBA has a golden opportunity here, but they're treating it like a hot potato. Sheila Johnson's worried about creating hard feelings, but isn't that exactly what's happening with this silent treatment?
I think with that, there's going to be, it's human nature sometimes, to have some envy or some jealousy, and it's happening now to Caitlin.
So, what's the game plan, WNBA? Are they going to step up and embrace their new star or keep playing this weird game of hide and seek? Because right now it feels like they're letting a slam dunk opportunity turn into an airball. And in the fast-paced world of sports, that's a mistake they might not be able to afford. Here's the deal, folks. Caitlin Clark's recognition isn't just about one player shining. It's a whole new ballgame for women's basketball. We're talking game-changing stuff here, and the WNBA needs to capitalize before the moment slips away.
She's doing, rating-wise for the WNBA, what Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Steph Curry have been doing for the NBA.
So, what's next on the court? Sure, keep your eyes on Caitlin Clark as she gears up for the 2025 WNBA season, but the real action is happening behind the scenes at the league offices. How the WNBA handles this could make or break the future of the game. Experts are saying we're at a tipping point. Clark's success could open doors for other players, but will the league ride that rising tide? Remember, sometimes the biggest plays happen when the clock's not running. The WNBA's next move. That's the real buzzer beater we're all waiting for. What do you think the WNBA will do next? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.